Hello, hello, and welcome back to Keshanar Confidential. My name is Lady X, and I am giving you a guided tour behind the scenes of the making of the Kingdom of Keshanar, which is a massive D&D setting that asks the very important question, what if the magic and the monsters in ancient Egypt were real? So we have spoken to a lot of people on the staff now at this point, and we have come to a person without which I feel like the entire thing would have gone down in flames several times by now. We are talking to the one, the only, Emily. Emily, would you care to introduce yourself?
That's very kind of you to say. Hi all, I'm Emily. I work for Keshanar in a few capacities. So yeah, excited to do this thing.
To clarify, a few capacities is a vast oversimplification.
That's fair. I guess I'm sort of Dave's personal executive assistant, but I also take care of social media management, general operations management under Mark's, and sort of just whatever else needs to be done. I do a lot of the community stuff. I run the Discord, our Facebook groups. Yeah.
You are 100% our gal Friday. Because most of the time, if someone is panicking and like, where's Dave? Or I don't know what to do, we just ask Emily.
And I am sometimes capable of tracking Dave down.
He was the channel cryptid for so long because we bring him up in every episode. Like Dave said, Dave did,
Oh, yeah.
And I realize now that the solution was just to ask Emily, who is like, that really terrible series that was like hunting Bigfoot or whatever?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do.
Okay, I feel like you are hunting Dave.
That is quite possibly the best way to phrase what I do for a living. My primary function is just find Dave.
And lo, we are grateful to you for it. In case, listeners couldn't tell, this is an extremely unserious episode, mostly because I feel like Emily deserves an hour to just hang out.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And additionally, because I'm not super great I'm not super familiar with doing podcasts and stuff, so that'll be amazing.
Excellent. Okay, so on a more serious note, vaguely more serious, what were you originally hired for? This is my favorite game to play with people on here. What were you originally hired for?
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I was originally hired as a copy editor back in early 2024. I was working maybe 8 hours a week maximum. And I did not think in any way that this would develop into kind of my full-time gig. And about a few months into, doing mostly copy editing and just whatever general task Dave wanted to throw at me, I got this message from him that just said, "Hey, do you want to go to Texas?" And I had no idea what it was about, but it was North Texas RPG Con, and he was like, "Here, I'll Venmo you for, your flight, your hotel cost, everything. Get on a plane, come meet us." I had never met this man before in my life in person. So my first actual encounter with Dave was, in, the airport hotel at DFW or whatever hotel it was at. And the rest is history. That's how I came on board here.
I love how many people are like, well, I was originally hired to edit, and then suddenly I found myself as VP of sales or whatever.
I actually have been doing editing stuff recently since we've got so much of the TKK written. That has I've been circling back to that, but it has been a full journey. There have been months at a time when I did very little editing.
So before you got hired, did you have any experience with TTRPGs?
Yeah, definitely. But no experience in creation. I mean, I got hired a few months out of college. So everything that I had done before that had been, just playing D&D with my friends. We had done some one-shots, Honey Heist, Alice is Missing, 10 Candles. That one's great. If anyone is listening, you should go check that one out if you haven't. And I never really imagined myself working in that sphere at all. So seeing, a copy editing gig in a TTRPG setting, I was like, okay, this is a chance to do something I'm interested in. And now that's opened up a lot for me.
So, as you mentioned, you kind of got thrown right into the deep end with this. What was your first, impression upon seeing the setting and the scope of what we were attempting to do?
Oh, this is a fun one. I was on a call with Dave, and I think the moment that I really understood the scope of this project was, a month out of college, living in my parents' house, and just sitting at the dining table on the phone with Dave, and he's walking me through the Unreal Engine. And I had to ask him to turn down the Unreal Engine volume because I couldn't hear his voice over the sound of the waves. Because he was walking around right by the ocean, and I could hear the sounds of the ocean over his voice. So that was the moment when I really realized, oh my gosh, this is huge. During my interview, Dave sent me TKK and was like, "Here, read this, decide if you're into it." And I did, but it was the Unreal Engine moment that got me going, oh, whoa, this is big.
Had you ever been to a convention before working for Orthane Productions?
No, not for D&D, not for RPGs, not for anything. I don't necessarily love crowds, which is hilarious because I live in a huge city. But so I had never really thought about going to one, and I've come to really enjoy them. Which is possibly against my personality, but they're kind of a blast.
While at a convention, have you had the chance to play in any of the one-shots yet?
Oh, yeah. I think I've played in all of them at this point, and with most of the DMs that we've had with us, and oh my gosh, it's absolutely incredible. Taking the position of, a player while you're, working a con, usually I step in when there's not enough players. So I'll be sort of the ones that I've played before. I'll be like, okay, I sort of know what's going on, so I'm trying not to metagame at all because I know all of the reveals and everything. But that ends up being a fun new challenge. And actually, at Gamehole Con last year, we had one guy who came back for his first game that he played with us. There were no other players, so it was me and him. We were the only players, and he had such a good time, even just with two players, that he came back for another game later.
Nice. Okay, so since you have done all of the one-shots, do you have a favorite?
I mean, that's got to be Perfect Trap, which is the fan favorite as well. It's always the one we have most signups for, and that one's probably because of the name. A lot of gamers really love cats, and myself included. But I just think the humor in that one is, oh my gosh, I'm trying to talk about it without giving any spoilers. It's hilarious. It's still got a lot of intrigue. It's got some great characters, some really nice NPCs. It's overall an absolute blast.
What is your preferred class when you're playing in Keshanar? Do you have a specific character type that you're like, yes, that's the one?
Ooh, in Keshanar specifically. That I don't know. I don't remember the characters that I've played as well as I remember the one-shots overall. But just outside of Keshanar in everything, I'm usually drawn to either Druid or Warlock, and I'm sure that I have played a Keshanar-specific brand of both of those.
I hear you. I am very much a rogue for life. So every time that my partner and I, or whoever, are going to play a game, they're like, okay, and your class? And I'm like, do you really have to ask at this stage? Come on.
I completely understand that.
Like the class I'm playing is stab it now, stab it later, stab it some more.
I think the first campaign that I played to completion, every single person had their go-to class, and almost all of them were spellcasters. So the only damage dealer that we had was a paladin, and everyone else was kind of just like, all right, let's hope we don't die.
Oh, no. Okay, so since you are obviously on familiar terms with the setting and whatnot, let's make believe that you get dropped into Keshanar City.
Ooh.
Where are you going first?
Immediately, Gebshani Botanical Gardens. And that is so obvious for me because I do just love a botanical garden. Um, but just getting to see the greenery and the plant life of Keshanar, I would absolutely love. And then after that, it would be Soul Crush, like the Keshanar's historical district. And I really have a thing for old architecture, which all of Keshanar City would have. But, for me, it's kind of the older the better. I love seeing something and being like, this thing is thousands of years old. So that in that order, Gebshani Botanical Gardens, straight to Soul Crush.
Emily, you're a vacationer after my own heart.
Maybe we should travel together.
Is it a vacation if there's not a historical plaque somewhere? I mean, come on, people.
I don't think so. I would always choose, historical sightseeing, museums, walking around old villages over any sort of like hotel resort thing. If you throw me in, the worst hostel imaginable in a historical area, I would take that over a nice hotel any day.
Now you're just talking sense. Okay, so do you have a favorite monster in Keshanar?
That is a good question. I definitely do. I'm juggling that in my head right now. I think. Ooh. I really like the discussion of the Crim Crab so far. I haven't seen the final art for that one, but I've seen a lot of the sketches and read a bit about it, and I'm really, really excited about that one. I think that's at the top for me. But really, once I see the art, I'm sure that'll nail that down.
I recall that one. 'Cause obviously a lot of the art is filtered through me, and the first time I saw that name, it was really late at night because I'm in a different time zone than pretty much everyone else. And I saw that name and I was trying so hard to figure out if they meant crime crab. And I was running through my head like, what is a crime crab? Is this a crab that does crime? Is it a crab for crime? What is it doing?
I'm sure the Crim Crab does do crime, just at least by humanoid standards.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember going to the beach as a kid and being really, really into the sand crabs. So when I read about the Crim Crab, this giant sand crab, I was like, yes, this is my thing.
Yeah, okay.
You know which one I'm really, really freaked out by though? The Sahakek. That thing creeps me out to no end. Like I heard Dr. Waller talk about it. I've seen the artwork for it. I'm like, if someone threw one of those at me in a game, I think that might be the one that I see, and I'm just like, nope, I'm running. I don't even want to try.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see, that's me with tentacles. Anything with tentacles, I'm like, no, I'm out. That's someone else's problem. Immediately.
So would that be, is that the Ballast Fiend? That one has tentacles, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember the discussions about that one because Dave and myself and I can't remember who else was in that one. It might have been one of the artists that was doing an original sketch for it, because that kind of came about by accident. We were originally doing art for a monster out in the desert that burrows in the sand, and the original art that the monster concept artist that we had, it looked really crusty and like coral, and we were immediately like, oh no, we just made a water monster by accident.
I was wondering where that one came from because, I mean, obviously Keshanar is coastal, so having a water-based monster does make sense. But just like if someone told me, like, think of a monster that's like inspired by ancient Egypt, I wouldn't have thought of something with tentacles because, it's desert.
Right.
But yeah, I like that one. Are you also iffy about like just regular octopi and squids?
Oh,
or
yeah.
just monsters? Oh, really?
Absolutely. Like, I have zero fear. Like, I love spiders. I'm gothic trash, so that checks out. Mice, bugs, whatever, I don't care. That's fine. As soon as there is an octopus within any kind of a vicinity of me, it just freaks me out. And my partner and I, not the first time, but we'd only met a couple of times and we decided to go to the aquarium together, and they didn't know about how sincere my phobia was.
Oh boy.
And we turned a corner and there was an octopus right there. And I just like hustled to the far other side of the room. And they're just standing there like talking, not aware that I'm not even there.
Oh,
And they turn around
oh
and
my
like,
gosh.
what happened? Like, I, how did you do that?
I unfortunately really, really like octopuses. I don't care about squids. I'm ambivalent about squids, but a good like story about an octopus, it just melts me. I don't know why. They're so funny and they're so smart and interesting. And I think I've read somewhere once about like an octopus that like found a bad shrimp in its feeding pile and like somehow opened the tank and threw the bad shrimp at its caregiver, and I just lost it. It was so funny.
See, my partner loves octopuses also, and is always like, but look how cute and how smart they are. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're never going to see it coming when those things rise up out of the ocean and start coming for all of us.
But so many like there's so much other stuff that is cute and smart. Although I guess yeah, a giant octopus attacking me would be a lot scarier than a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
I think it's the suction cups that really are freaking me out. Like,
That does make sense.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the desert, please, where there is no ocean.
Okay, we can get away from the tentacles now.
Oh my gosh. Pretty soon this is going to turn into a top 10 list of things in the ocean that Lady X is going to call the police on.
Oh, is it a lot of ocean things?
I mean, maybe I just, a lot of it can just stay. It's fine. It's fine out there.
Stay in the ocean. Just stay
It's
stay underwater.
exactly. I don't come down there and bother them. They don't need to come up here and bother me.
All right. Yeah, I think I can respect that take.
Okay. We are definitely very focused this episode.
As always.
We're very on top of things, everybody. Okay. So you mentioned Dr. Jill, who is a friend of the show, and we always love having her on.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite or a most surprising or whatever piece of Egyptology that you have picked up while working on this project?
Oh, yes, I do. I need to remember what it is. One sec. Okay. And I actually did, when I found out about this, I immediately had to message Dr. Jill and be like, is this real or is this, some internet trash? But it's Nehebkau, which was like this, I forget if it was like a spirit or a god or some sort of lesser deity. You'd have to ask Dr. Waller, but it's a snake with human legs. And that was what drew me in. It's just a snake that also has regular human legs.
I have to know, how many legs does it have?
Just two.
Oh my god, like regular
Yeah.
length human legs.
It's like from knee down, or I don't know if it has knees, but it's like it's just the calves and below.
Oh my god, does it walk like Cotton Hill from King of the Hill?
Maybe. I am not sure.
Does it have knees anymore?
I'm looking at photos of it right now and I cannot see knees except for on one like really weird depiction where it also has arms and genitals, and I'm not sure that that's an accurate one. Most of the ones I'm seeing, it's just calves and feet. But yeah, this was sometimes I'll find something and be like, I need to check with Dr. Waller about this. I saw this one and immediately I was like, all tasks aside, I need to know right now if this is real. And now I'm also seeing a post where someone would be like, how would Nehebkau wear his pants? Which is the age-old question of, things that have human legs but aren't humans.
I have to know also. Okay, please describe in detail, number one, how in the world you think this thing locomotes, and number two, where on the body of the snake are the legs placed?
Okay, I'm going to start with number two because I feel like the visual is useful. So the snake is sort of, head is top right, tip of the tail is bottom left. And there's this, S shape from the head that goes down and then back up into like a, paraboloid and then back down. It just makes this S shape. And on the first down loop, so about, a third of the way down the snake's body, the legs are out. and they just come straight onto the ground. So almost no part of the snake is actually touching the ground other than the tip of the tail. So imagining how this thing locomotes is really funny because as we've said, there's no knees. So I don't quite know. I'm imagining it could just like lift the legs up, and then you know how snakes can sometimes like slither, but half of them is like up in the air?
Oh my god, yes.
I'm picturing it doing that, but then the feet are just like forward, like a child on a swing.
Are the legs like pedaling in the air while this is happening?
In my imagination, no.
Okay.
In my imagination, they're kind of just straight out. But also, I mean, this is just this is my brain coming up with possible ways that this being could move.
Okay, well, two very important things that have come up from this now. One, we are absolutely going to include a picture of this as the thumbnail for this episode because I don't know what else we could do.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll have to send this to you as well. Maybe we'll have to do a social media post about this.
Oh, 100%.
Now that I've brought this up, everyone has to know.
Yeah, absolutely. How could you possibly keep such a glorious thing to yourself?
How selfish of me. I apologize.
Exactly. How dare you? Okay, the second thing, and I feel like this might also be a question for social media, is at what point does the snake stop being body and it's just tail? Like, where is the cutoff between snake body, snake tail?
Oh, that's a good question. Both
yeah, we're getting philosophical now.
Nehebkau. That's both a good question for Nehebkau and just for snakes in general. Because if it's a rattlesnake, no, actually, never mind. I was gonna say then it's just the rattle, but I was like, no, because the rattle's on the tip of the tail. Wow. Do snakes have tailbones, or is it just all spine?
It's all spine.
Okay. I want to say that there must be like. Okay, wait, no. I'm looking at images of snakes right now. There actually is a moment where, like, their skeleton, where they stop having ribs, and there's a few inches at the end that doesn't seem to have ribs attached.
Oh.
And in desperation to categorize this, I'm going to say that that's where the tail starts and the body stops.
Okay, acceptable.
But also, I'm not a naturalist, so I am no expert on snakes. Nobody take my word on this. Do your own research.
Okay, so we already have like an Egyptologist on staff. We had a linguist. I do ancient textiles and whatnot. Do you think we could convince Dave to temporarily hire naturalists so that we could ask them a few very important questions?
Oh, I want to now. And that would be one of the easier things for me to find because I've got a lot of like naturalist type folks in my family. I want to make this happen though. Dave, if you're listening, we need a naturalist on board. We need a natural biology anatomist general type person.
We don't ask for a lot, Dave.
But we do ask for this.
But this is what we want. We've been very good this year.
Give the people what they want. What they want is snake anatomy.
Oh my gosh. I really hope that people that have never listened to the podcast before, that this is the episode that they're like, I'm going to give this shot.
Yes, for anyone who's this is your first podcast episode, yes, this let's just say this is what they're all like. We are always like this, and you should go listen to the rest if you like this.
Oh boy. That's a statement to make.
I know. I have actually no idea whether it's true.
Well, we're just gonna move right along now. Okay. So, we've established that you want to see Soul Crush, which is, obviously like, duh, who wouldn't want to go look at old history stuff on vacation?
Right?
Taking a sort of like a brief look outside of the realm of Keshanar. There's obviously a lot of different lands that we really don't touch on a whole lot, but they're out there in the setting. Do you have a favorite one among those?
Well, yes. Well, maybe, okay. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a favorite, but I would be really interested by Orthandrel because I believe, I might be getting this wrong, that the Orthandrel elves do not use divine magic. And I'd love to see the difference in, a society on Orthane that uses divine magic for almost everything, and in fact has a covenant with the gods that grants them this divine magic, and then a group of people that entirely, departs from that and operates by a completely different standard. I think that would be really interesting.
I'm really excited when we finally get to Orthandril also, mostly because I can't wait for more art, because these elves, they're kind of inspired by the drow in terms of appearance, but they mine magic crystals from their island and actually embed them in their skin.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I did not remember this part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Right? Like, I
One of
am
the
so
things,
excited
yeah.
to see that.
One of my favorite things in I mean, I read a lot of fantasy, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners and a lot of our employees do. Um, but one of my favorite things in reading fantasy is like the magic or science system in that world. How fleshed out is it?
Mm-hmm.
What are the rules? What are the constraints? Because everyone thinks about it a little bit differently. Everyone comes up with like a different way that, science is integrated into the magic and vice versa. So, yeah, once we can explore a bit more of that, going, expanding from Keshanar into the broader world of Orthane, I think that's going to be so cool.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to some of these interactions, especially since some of the nations are, more hostile than others toward Keshanar as a general
Mhm.
rule. Okay, well, speaking of divine magic, do you have a favorite deity that if you were Keshan, whose temple would you be visiting?
Mm, my immediate thoughts are either Geb or Ash. Um,
Yeah, okay.
Again, I mentioned Gebshani Botanical Gardens earlier. Are we seeing a theme yet? Um, but I'd be really interested in the Temple of Geb, or just general, practices around Geb and around, the Keshan god of the earth. But I also just love, Ash's mischief and playfulness, kind of the fact that, the tent temples are never in the same place. They're always traveling. I think either one of those I'd be equally interested in.
Yeah, okay. I could see that. I am wholly surprised by your answer.
Really? What did you
No,
think?
not at all.
Oh,
Who could have predicted?
in this episode of Emily Fails to See Sarcasm.
Okay, well, I promise that's not what we're going to call the episode, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so we've established where you're going on your fun little tour and what temple you feel the most allegiance to. Now to flip it around, what parts of Keshanar are you like, I think that is not for me?
I mean, the downtown. I don't think I would be going there unless maybe my life depended on it. Even so, I would probably still be like, is there any sort of alternative here? Um, because I'm not super into, I don't know, walking around a bunch of dark tunnels with gelatinous cubes wherever. Um, and then my other answer, now that I've thought about it for a second, would actually be the necropolis. I think that what, Dave and the writers have done with with undead magic is really, really interesting. Like hearing about the idea of using, you know, prosthetic limbs that are reanimated flesh. That's so cool. And all of my anxiety dreams in real life are about zombies. So
Oh,
I don't think that I would want to be anywhere near the undead parts of Keshanar and that sort of magic.
so pretty much everywhere? Because I'm just thinking about the Duskers that are literally
Well,
everywhere.
yeah, now that I think about it, Keshanar might be a really hard place for me to be. Um,
Hmm.
but the Duskers are skeletal. Like, somehow being able to see their bones and like that feels a little bit different than entirely reanimated bodies. I think that like a reanimated mummy would really, really freak me out. Just the skeletons, somehow a little different.
It's kind of funny because my partner is the same way. Like, skeletons doesn't matter, but as soon as there's like, I don't know a polite term for human jerky on the person, he's like, no, absolutely not. I'm out.
As soon as there's still body on the bones.
Yeah, yeah, none of
Yeah.
that.
Sounds like I agree with your spouse.
I also can't imagine why you would not want to traipse around in a sewer in the downtown.
Right?
Like, gosh, why does that not sound like fun to you?
I'm curious if anyone has said that that actually would be fun to explore.
So far I've gotten a lot of, similar answer like Soul Crush, and wanting to see like the palace and, stuff like that. And also several people have said Troll Town.
That they would not want to go to Troll Town or that they would?
Oh, that they do want to go there.
Oh yeah. I would really like to do the drinking hall of Shesmu. I think that would be super, super fun. I mean, of course, I usually go to bed by like midnight, so I would be retiring from the party early, but I would
Oh,
still love to
honey.
stop there. I know.
Laughs and older. She's like, I go to bed early at midnight. Okay. Okay.
Okay, but for people my age in my general circle, I am like one of the earliest to bed people in my friend group, I will say.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go fetch my reading glasses and my, Senka or whatever.
I mean, hey,
Talking about.
Dave could beat me in terms of, endurance at any party any day ever.
That's because I'm pretty sure, once again, that Dave is a cryptid of some kind.
Oh yeah, and he has told me that himself, in fact. So I
Yeah.
believe it as well.
Yeah.
I
So I
think
don't know
when
exactly
I
what he is, but he's a Dave.
this is also hilarious. When I was first, getting onboarded, I think Dave asked me about like my first interview at like 3 in the morning. And I happened to be awake because I was getting water or something, but I had been asleep most of the night. And I pick up my phone to see what time it is. As a message from Dave arrives, being like, "Are you awake now? We could do an interview." And I was like, "No, I am not awake. It's 3 in the morning."
Now, see, I usually have the opposite experience because I'm not in the same time zone at all. And so usually when I wake up in the morning and I see Dave is still up and he starts messaging at me, and I'm like, absolutely not. Go to bed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Trying to get
Yeah.
trying to get Dave to go to sleep is, yeah. Any convention that we've gone to where, after the days of gaming and, walking around meeting people, talking to people, there's usually, some festivities in the evening. I think routinely I am the one who clocks out early and is like, "I'm going to bed now, y'all. See you in the morning."
Okay, well, you guys heard it here. If you want to party with Dave, apparently go to a convention and stay up late.
Go to a convention that Keshanar is at, stay up until like 4 in the morning.
Yep. This episode has not gotten away from us at all. That's the good news.
Oh, absolutely not. What? What?
But also, I'm trying so hard to keep things on track, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like we've kind of earned just hanging out.
Keeping things on track is not necessarily what. I mean, we get everything done in this job.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
part of it is we get things done through tangents. That's been how we've come up with some of like the best monsters and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And also how some of us have ended up with the most random assignments in the company.
Exactly.
Okay, well, this has been an experience that I am very grateful to have shared with you, Emily.
Likewise.
I always like to wrap things up with an extremely serious question, so put your thinking cap on.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm ready.
Mhm. Okay. If you had to eat one, and only one, flavor of cake for the rest of your life, what is it?
I'm so basic. Chocolate.
Just
I'm also
regular
not
old chocolate.
just regular chocolate. I'm not a huge cake person, though. So
Oh my
there's not a
gosh,
lot of
you
stakes
heathen.
in this for me. um, yeah, I think chocolate.
Are you a layer cake person? Like, do you want that sliver of frosting in the middle there?
I do not like frosting. I'm sorry if I'm
Friendship
offending
over.
people by saying this. I will, and like, not only do I not like it, I will actively like scrape frosting off.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
don't even know you.
I'm so sorry.
Of all the egregious things that have been said on this show, we might have to censor that.
I regret the pain that I have caused.
Okay. So, since you are not a cake person, what are you
Mhm.
hitting at the dessert table?
If I had any option, I would be going for, like, a berry pie
Oh,
any day
okay.
of the week. Mhm.
Are
I don't think
you
that can be beat.
do you with your pie, are you
Mhm.
just I want it plain kind of person or whipped cream or ice cream?
You know, I think I want it plain. Oh my gosh. I feel like I might be making enemies out here today.
Wow.
Yeah, plain, hot or cold. Like, really good leftover pie for breakfast, cold in the morning, especially in the fall. That hits different for me.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. Especially there's something magical about a crisp day and a pie that is fresh out of the oven.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But
I
then
feel like
something
this
just
is
also about molten berries, it's just oh my gosh, my mouth is watering thinking about it now.
I'm not sorry at all. Uh, this is almost as hot of a take as when I was asking Brooke what her favorite flavor of Pop-Tart was.
What did she say?
I don't remember, but I do
See,
remember that we had this like long in-depth discussion about do you toast a Pop-Tart? Do you microwave it? Do you just eat it as is? Like what is the correct procedure here?
see, I would also be a terrible person to ask that question to. I am pretty sure in my life I have eaten no more than like, I don't know, maybe 8 Pop-Tarts.
Wow.
And I only definitively remember 2 of them. And that was on like a 3-week backpacking trip. We each had like 1 package of Pop-Tarts in our bag that we like savored. And I remember those they tasted really good in the woods. And I'm not sure that anything else could live up to that. Like, I'm not sure that if I ate one now, it would taste anywhere near as good as it did after, 2.5 weeks of backpacking.
That's fair. There is something about eating outdoors, especially when you're like doing a lot of physical work. They could hand you like a can of dog food and you'd be like, damn, this is kind of okay.
Oh, yeah. And I have been handed things pretty similar to cans of dog food while
Mood.
backpacking. If you've ever had just a can of canned turkey while backpacking,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was, I think, like 14 when I got handed that, and I was like, this is somehow edible now.
I grew up doing a lot of livestock y stuff, you know. Um, and I remember one time we were at a horse show and we had been there for all day and it was awful. It was super hot. And the horse trainer I was with, he was so concerned about my nutrition because I was, a younger teenager. And he was like, "Are you getting enough protein? I am so worried that you're not getting enough salt and protein today. Here, I'll fix it." He handed me a can of chili. I was like,
Just
"It's
cold.
92 degrees and you handed me a can of chili."
Oh my gosh. Nothing like eating
Yup.
cold canned chili out of the can in
Yeah,
92-degree weather.
with nothing with it. Like, I was like, "All right, well, thank
Oh, did you
you."
even have, like, a spoon or something, or were you just expected to drink it?
No, I was just
Oh.
drinking it.
Having also come from, like, livestock areas, that does sound really, really accurate to the folk
Right?
who work in that circle.
It was so correct. It was either that or like 6 boiled eggs
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I remember
and a
working
Gatorade.
on I worked on, like, a sheep farm at one point, and me and the farm owner at one point had to drive, like, 3 hours, and before we got in the truck, one of the other workers pulled me aside, and he was just like, "Hey, just so you know, here's the hammer." And I was like, "What is this for?" And he said, "If the truck won't start, you crawl
The
underneath it, you
hammer.
hit the engine with this very specific spot with the engine while turning the key in the ignition, and
Yep.
eventually it'll turn on."
Why does every farm have a truck like that? Every single
I
one.
don't know. And one of the windows
It's
never
always
works,
the
and in
hammer.
order to, like one of the windows never works, and one of the doors never works, and you have to, like, climb out through the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always this.
We also had the great experience of a tractor that you had to start with a shotgun shell.
I never had that, but that does
Oh, yeah.
sound yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. It was an ancient tractor. It ran purely on spite. And there was no key for it because it was like 1,000,000 years old. So you just took a shotgun shell and placed it exactly right and whacked the thing with a hammer, and there she goes.
Sometimes that does the trick.
Yep.
Who needs an engineering degree when you can just fix things like that?
Right? If you can't fix it with duct tape, like, throw it out. You're done.
Or by hitting it with a hammer.
Or hitting it with a hammer.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any personal projects or anything else that you would like to plug before we say our goodbyes?
You know what? If anyone is in the New York City general area, I'm an actor in New York, and you can see what projects I'm working on at emilycummings.com. That's EMILY-CUMMINGS.com. Would really appreciate it because people aren't going to theater as much anymore, and we are doing some really cool stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you heard it here, folks. Go see Emily, like, immediately. Do it.
That's a threat. No, it's not. I actually don't care. But actors and artists, we need support. Everyone in the art world needs support right now.
Very true. Okay, well, Emily, thank you for spending a only slightly chaotic half an hour with us. 45 minutes, whatever it's been.
Thanks for having me, Lady X.
All right. My name is Lady X. This has been Keshanar Confidential. We are uploading a couple of times a month. Be sure to check out our older episodes for some really great behind-the-scenes content on the making of the setting, as well as other fun things like how do you market an RPG from out of nowhere. I am an uncouth bystander of set, and I will see you in the next episode.